Greetings, folks. Welcome back to the Jason Damico Show. And as always, we've got a very special guest with us. And he is a Nashville-based guitarist for hire that plays for various country, pop, rock artists in both live settings as well as studio session work. After proving himself to be a competent musician in North Carolina from years of gigging with various bands, acoustic duos, and solo gigs, he's made the move to Nashville in June of 2019 to be a full-time session guitarist. And he happens to be a good friend of mine, and it's good to catch up with him. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Dave Maiorino.
How you doing?
Good to see you, my friend. I should have said this earlier. I love the hair, man.
Oh, thank you too. Likewise. Likewise.
It's deceiving. Mine's like 3 times longer than it appears because I have some product in it right now.
Yeah. I try to fluff it up.
To hear if I try to do. I don't even know if that's possible with my hair.
It's a lot of work. But it's what you got to do.
Right.
Part of the look. So.
Yeah. No, I did you ever see the pictures of when I was in that like Chinese film, and it was like in theaters in China, but they filmed
really
in New York. Yeah, I gotta send you a picture after this. But anyway, because it was like the same length as this, and it was a punk rock thing.
Nice.
They literally had to bring it up to there, and it took like an hour and a half to.
Yeah.
It was nuts. Like I thought my hair was gonna disintegrate.
Should bring it back.
Yeah, an hour and a half worth of prep time. It took 3 people.
Yeah, worth it.
Crazy. So, and speaking of crazy times that we're in.
Crazy times, yep.
You know, this quarantine situation, and you know, we'll get into that. I do want to start with your beginning stages as far as you as a player. And, I mean, we've been jamming on and off for a few years at venues and, you know, hanging out in North Carolina.
That's right.
Just walk me through how you got started on guitar and some of the influences from the beginning.
So from the very beginning, it started. So my uncle would play piano for me when I was like, before I could speak or anything, and he would play Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Right.
And he always tells this story now is basically when he would come home from work, I would point at the piano. I couldn't say anything, but I would be like, you know, play Somewhere Over the Rainbow. I was trying to say that essentially. And he always tells that story. So I always kind of had that passion from a young age. As far as guitar, I probably picked up a guitar around 10 years old and kind of always messed with it. But it really wasn't until when I was a freshman in high school. And when I was a freshman in high school, there's guitar classes at the high school I went to, Green Hope. So I was in Guitar 1, and it was kind of through those classes that I realized that, you know, I kind of had this gift, I guess you could say, just kind of stood out. And that's when I really got into it, when I was in high school, because I was learning both in school, and I just developed a big passion for it, and I started becoming more known as a guitar player, I guess. And then my influences when I was in high school, early high school, was very much like fingerstyle acoustic stuff, like Tommy Emmanuel and all that kind of stuff. But then when I was a senior in high school, I started with an acoustic duo with my friend Rory, John Zach, and we were Dave and Rory, and we played a bunch of country music and covers and all that kind of stuff. But ever since then, I've loved, you know, I'm a big John Mayer fan.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. You and I both.
Yeah, big John Mayer fan. Grew up listening to classic rock. I love country too, and I love a whole lot of stuff like that. So, yeah. And here we are now. So
right.
I feel like I skipped a few steps.
Well, no, I was gonna say stick on the John Mayer thing for a second, because you know a lot of I think a lot of folks would agree with me, including yourself. He really did re-spark that that guitar energy into the pop
Absolutely.
field. You know, I remember
Absolutely.
back in when I started high school, it was like '08,
Yeah.
and Continuum was out for a couple of years, and it just totally disrupted everything. I think in a really
Yeah.
positive way.
Yeah.
You know, just blues, great songwriting,
Oh yeah.
not overproduced.
Right.
Your thoughts on his playing and just his songwriting, which I'm sure will be positive because you and I both are heavily
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think the best thing about John Mayer is his ability to speak to a large audience through like his guitar playing, you know, because
right.
I feel like his real passion is very much just like the straight up blues, you know, but like obviously he's not going to have an audience as big as he does if like he just pursued that from the get-go,
Right.
you know. So I think it's amazing how he started from just playing acoustic, releasing solo acoustic albums, or not albums, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Coming out with singles like "Your Body's a Wonderland" and stuff to get, you know, to where he's at now, so he could really pursue what he's into, you know, which I think is really cool. And he's just made his playing and songwriting and everything very conversational and just something that people want to listen to, which I think is awesome.
Do you have a favorite record of his?
I really like the Paradise Valley era.
Yeah,
I like that kind of stuff a lot, as well as Born and Raised. I think that
So some
stuff's
of his
really
later
cool.
stuff then.
Yeah, like of
Okay.
course I love the early stuff too. Like I love that stuff, but I think I don't know, something about like Paradise Valley. It's
Yeah.
just like that Western vibe that's really cool. So
Yeah. Well, one could argue that if it wasn't for the vocal cord issues, he
yeah,
probably never would have made that record because if I'm
yeah,
not mistaken, him being out there at the ranch, that was when he wrote, I
yeah,
think, that record.
yeah. I'm sure going to Montana. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What other influences? I would assume SRV a little bit, right?
Yeah, SRV, Jimi Hendrix, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But what I really grew up on was so my dad listened to a ton of like AC/DC and Led Zeppelin. So, you know, like that was like the earliest stuff that, you know, just came into my mind from a young age of just hearing the records all the time. And then my mom was more into like James Taylor and that kind of stuff. And I really enjoy that kind of music too, like the more soft acoustic stuff and
Yeah.
kind of both of those, you know, yin and yang, I guess. so yeah, those are some of the influences that I grew up on. So
Let's talk a little bit more about creative process for you as far as, you know,
yeah,
writing, coming up with riffs.
yeah,
I'm sure it's evolved over the years. You know,
yeah,
I can speak for myself where a lot of things you can honestly just orchestrate in your head. You
yeah,
already know how it's going to translate because
yeah,
you have the experience on the instrument.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just, you know, creative process. Anything that's just jiving with you lately or the last year or two, you know.
Well, for the most part, so like I'm very much like a guitar player first, you know. So for me, it really starts with the music so
Right.
much, like the actual music behind it. So sometimes I'll just hear like a guitar part in my head and play it, or other times it's just my fingers that come up with it. Essentially,
Right.
it's just the fingers. But for me, and I don't do too much songwriting right now, but I do some. But for me, it definitely starts with the guitar. You know, it starts with coming up with a chord progression, and then coming up with a riff or melody that goes on top of that. And you know, I'm very much just more into the music side of it. So I love to play with like Logic and come up with, you know, all the parts and try to,
Right.
you know, just have it built and let it build off of each other, essentially.
Do you have a favorite
So
chord? It's a
that's a good
stupid question, but
No, that
I just feel led to ask it.
I love the chord. So it's like a F sharp minor, but you let the E and B string ring.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about? I love
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah. Kind of like the Alice in Chains
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah, I really love open chords like that. So whether it's that one or just you could do the whole thing in the key of E major,
Right.
like the A bar chord with the E and B and all that kind of stuff. I the more open a chord is, the more I tend to like it. So
Yeah.
that's the chords that I like.
That's cool.
So
it's unfortunate that capos have to be involved at some point if you want to change the key and still have the same timbre.
Absolutely. Yeah, the whole open string thing is very reliant on just being in one of those keys, whether like one of the open keys essentially,
Right.
So, but that's the cool thing about guitar is that every key kind of has its own personality to it, like different things you could do, like different chords you could do that sound cool in this key versus a different. And when I mean key, I mean more like shape of chord, because obviously there's capos, so you could play the key of B capo 2 like A, like. But what I mean is like the shape of chord, So every shape of chord has a cool different thing about it.
So. I've been getting into more like keyboards lately.
Awesome.
As far as just having some in between shooting podcasts and doing everything else with the business during COVID, kind of doing some blues harmonica and some blues piano playing.
Nice.
And same thing with the keyboard to a certain extent, where especially with the blues scale, there's certain, like C and B flat and E. Those keys are very friendly, kind of like where A and E are really, like E is just so friendly on guitar. G is very friendly.
Yeah.
Well, they're kind of intertwined, but it's there are certain keys that really speak on guitar.
Yeah.
In
absolutely.
In their own personalities. It's a great way to put it. I never thought of it that way before. Like each one has their own.
Yeah, personality, different things you could do with it.
Are you usually in standard tuning?
Yeah, typically, especially on electric, usually always standard.
Right.
Sometimes I'll drop. I know you play an E flat a lot. Of course that has
I play in everything these days, man. It's strange. Like it's all based on the vocal and where it sits. Right. I did the one I'm mixing right now is in D standard.
Yeah.
With drop C.
Nice.
So, and it really has it's got a growl to it. Yeah, and it's all there's no electric guitars on it. It's all acoustics and bass and drums and vocal and keyboards.
So you got a big, deep, flat 7 chord, essentially.
It's just open C, basically.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool. Yeah. That's awesome.
But again, it just didn't sound right in any other key.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. So
standard.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot the question for a second.
I two guitar players and.
Yeah. So, anyways, mainly standard on electric, but acoustic I do love. It's of course really fun to do the open tunings like Dadgad or
right.
Just open D, like you strum the strings and you play a D chord, and of course that stuff is super fun. And going back to growing up on like Led Zeppelin, when you listen to their acoustic stuff, it's got a lot of that open tuning to it, and that's kind of where it started for me, the open tuning stuff. So
yeah, Zeppelin is man.
Yeah.
Layers and layers and layers of knowledge in those records. Oh.
Absolutely.
Incredible.
Absolutely.
I mean, I never really had much respect for Page until I realized that he basically produced everything or co-produced with the engineers and really created those sounds. And I love his playing. It was, but that was really what granted the respect, because for me, it was always like, in that era, it was Clapton and Hendrix, but he's whole other level production.
I think it's really cool how that band was kind of formed, so Jimmy Page was like a session player. And then after doing that for years, he formed like a super group essentially, and
Right.
kind of took over the world with that one. So
Right.
I think that's really cool.
There's a really great video of them playing. I don't know where it was, but it's like black and white, really gritty. And
Yeah.
it was around the first album era. So like
Yeah.
68, 69,
Yeah.
whenever that came out. And man, so like they were a blues band.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before they really that first record is just straight up blues.
Right.
It's cool.
Yeah, they're awesome. So
one of the things I love about your playing is it's very clear. It's very, very clean.
Thanks.
Very polished.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. How was that on purpose, or is that just kind of your natural voice? Kind of walk us through that process of, how that came to be.
I kind of have a theory or philosophy that like the music that you play, no matter what instrument or anything you do, like you pick up a lot what you really appreciate to listen to in general. So for me, like I'll listen to a whole song or guitar solo and there's going to be one lick and it's going to be like a simple thing but really tasteful, and that's the one thing that I'm like, oh, I want to learn that, and like it comes more naturally, that I feel like that's always been a little bit more of my style, is kind of playing a little bit less and just trying to make it tasteful and speak for itself, and I really think that comes from just when I listen to the actual song, that's the note or riff or whatever that speaks to me the most, so I've never been much of a shredder, even though at times I've been like, oh, that would be cool to learn like how to sweep, kind of thing. But that's never what's like drawn me as a listener,
It's a bitch to maintain.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
Yeah. So it's never drawn me as a listener. So I feel like naturally, I can't get around it too much naturally.
Right.
So that's kind of my philosophy on.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And the finger picking too.
Yeah.
What any major influences with that? I know that John Mayer like does both very proficient.
Well, that started as, the finger style acoustic stuff, that's how I started playing guitar a lot, was playing acoustic guitar and playing like these arrangements of songs that I guess you could say was pretty technical. But it just used all the fingers, it was a finger style acoustic thing. And that translated to electric guitar, playing with your fingers. I do the hybrid picking a lot, so that kind of thing. And of course, John Mayer does the like really funky right hand finger picking stuff, and I do try to emulate that too, I guess. So yeah.
Did you ever get into Mark Knopfler at all?
I do love his playing for sure. I know a couple of his songs. I should learn more though, because really good.
Yeah, he's yeah. Him and John Mayer to me are some of the best. Like, I don't know what style you would call that, but it's I mean, it's obviously finger picking, but it's more of that percussive,
very
finger picking thing. It's almost like keyboard-esque.
Yeah, that's got to be one of John Mayer's biggest influences, if you think about it. That's that Stratocaster on the fifth or second position, or fourth and second position,
right?
Just really percussive, funky,
right?
Clean. So
is four the one down? Which one is one for you? One is where the neck is, right? For you,
honestly, usually I just call it by neck
to bridge.
Middle, but I think it's technically bridge is one. I think
that one where it's right before the bridge. For me, it's the fourth one away from you.
Yeah.
I think it's nasty, man.
Oh yeah, like it's cool. Very
well,
classic Strat tones.
Yeah, I mean, guitars. What are you playing these days as far as because
I've been
you and
playing.
I were both into the Strats
Yep.
for a
Yep.
while, but I know we've both expanded to a certain degree.
My newest guitar is a Telecaster. I got a Sur Telecaster. It's
Oh,
called a
cool.
Classic T.
Yeah, I saw it on Instagram.
And I love that thing. That thing's awesome. You know, it's kind of like when you move to Nashville. You know, it's very much a Tele town. You don't have to play a Telecaster, but it's very much the sound. And
Right.
but it wasn't so much me like so much conforming to that, but it was more like when I started playing full band situations a lot more, I kind of realized how much I like the bridge pickup, you know, and I was playing that as Strat, you know, because I was playing the Strat before. And if I was playing a 4-hour gig, or excuse me, any gig, I would be on the bridge for most of the time, you know, just because with all the stage volume and all that, you could just hear it clearest, you know. And I was kind of realizing I'm developing to be more of a Telecaster player just because I like this bridge pickup so much more. I'm playing more country music, and then so in December, a few months ago, I got the Sur Classic T, and that thing is amazing. So
The Sur is just like I don't know if I've ever played one, but they look really smooth.
It's incredible. It's incredible, and it's one of those things. You know, I always kind of thought that Sur like had the stigma of being more of like a shredder thing, you know, because their players is more
Right.
shredder type players, but that Telecaster is just amazing traditional sound, and it just plays amazing.
Yeah.
Sounds great. I think the bridge pickup on it is the best sounding Tele bridge pickup I've heard personally. And it's just a great guitar. You know, I thought it was more of a shredder thing, but till I played one, I was like, oh, it's just a really good guitar. So
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, mainly Teles today.
That's cool. Yeah, I've got a few.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a semi hollow body Tele right here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's fun. You know,
Yeah.
the Telecaster, what really turned me on to the Telecaster was Andy Sumner's playing with the Police.
Yeah.
And seeing Prince obliterate everybody on the
right.
You know the video that I'm talking about.
Yeah, with Tom Petty and all that.
Yeah, it's just like that to me is just you want to talk about a total shutdown, like
yeah, no, that's an amazing performance. So
what amps are you into these days?
What I've had since I moved to Nashville is just a deluxe reverb blackface 65 reissue.
Oh, cool.
I've been using that. I got it because I was using the Helix, the Line 6 Helix, for a little bit, just a little bit. And something about it, I just never stuck with me so much,
right?
You know, versus having the real amp, just with the tubes, you know, just on the edge of breakup. Something about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, since I moved to Nashville, I've been playing a deluxe reverb, which is great because you're clean and it's just a good pedal platform amp, and it's an accessible amp, you know. You can go to Guitar Center and get it.
Is that the 22 watt 1x12?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Exactly.
I had one. It was wait, was it a blackface? Wait, I think I had the same amp. I think I did. Did you ever play through that? The one that I had?
I'm not sure. I know you had the Blues Junior. I remember that.
Blues Junior.
Yeah.
I had the deluxe, the 22 watt. I sold it. I had a Fender Twin.
Yeah.
Loud as hell, man.
Oh, I bet.
Ended up selling it. Just to reinvest in other things, you know. But
yeah,
I don't know. I went down this Marshall tangent 5 years ago, and I can't seem to get out of it now.
That's cool though. That's awesome.
Oh, dude, yeah. It's I don't know when I'm getting out of this Marshall hole, man.
Hey, It's not a bad place to be.
Nah.
That's cool. So it's really cool.
Tone in general, you said like a good staging amp. I know that you are into the pedals a little bit. You're not crazy football field amount of gear, square footage. But as far as like, maybe a couple of pedals you want to talk about, or just, what your sound is.
So I actually just rebuilt my pedal board like since the beginning of this quarantine a few weeks ago. I rebuilt it. It's a lot cleaner now. But a couple of pedals that are my go-to standards is a exotic AC booster, which is an overdrive. It's more of a lighter medium crunch overdrive, and that's been my go-to since I moved to Nashville. It's been my go-to. It's just a great overdrive. It just works in a lot of situations and works really well on the bridge pickup. So that's a great one. The King of Tone, Prince of Tone. Are you familiar with those by Analog Man?
I'm not. They sound familiar, but
Yeah, King of Tone. They're like the natural transparent overdrive. That's really nice too. But my go-to, if I could tell anyone to get one pedal that's an overdrive, it would be the AC booster by Exotic. So
that would be the white one.
No, that's the RC. The AC is the yellow one.
Okay.
I think any of the Exotic like overdrive pedals, boosts, any of those, incredible. I think they're really good. So Exotic, amazing stuff.
Do you do anything with like Leslie simulation or rotary, anything like that?
I haven't. I had a friend that I play in a band with, and he's got the Line 6 M9, and it's got that emulation on it. And when he played it, I thought it was really awesome. And now I want to get like an analog one, just like that does the sound really well. Yeah. I haven't messed with one myself, but I think it's a really cool sound. So it's something I want to dive into for sure.
Yeah, they're fun. It's very gushy.
Yeah, it's just cool.
Yeah, cool sound. You can get away with a lot. Like, especially if you put it in front of an acoustic, you kind of, it's like compression, but it's just weird and more musical.
Yeah.
Because literally it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, I know in Nashville they use a lot of, they do the Leslie thing once in a while over there.
Yeah. Yeah. The Nashville like go-to overdrive is called a Nobles ODR one. That's like, I guess you could say legendary. It's just very popular. It's that green box. It's like $70. It's just like that Nashville overdrive. That's a really popular Nashville one. So
is that similar to the Ibanez TR9 or whatever it is? That older
the Tube Screamer?
Yeah, the Tube Screamer.
Yes. I would say it's comparable to a Tube Screamer without the mid-range hump.
Right.
That's how I'd put it. So
yeah.
That's how I would put it.
What before all this, before the world literally shut down?
Yep.
You were doing some stuff with Bryce.
Yeah.
Bryce, you want to talk about that for a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. So I moved to Nashville in June of 2019, and so making the jump, it's a more of a difficult transition. You have to go through a period of nothing essentially. Right. But I was really lucky. I met him the first week I moved to Nashville, and which was awesome because I met him at this party that was an EP release party, and I met a bunch of artists and musicians that night. But when I met him, he was looking for a lead guitar player, and he knew me as that, and I got his Instagram and all that, and I got really lucky about it. And we played our first gig together in August at the House of Blues, and we've been playing a couple times a month, every month since then. And playing with Bryce Malden, it's always a good time. It's a good band. It's a good hang. The music's fun to play. Music's good. It's just it's a good time, So, and playing with him, it's it's nice because what I typically do in Nashville is like the 4-hour Broadway gigs right now, you know, which
Right.
is kind of like cut your teeth type gig.
Right.
But when I play with him, it's usually something really cool, like out of state in Florida a lot of the time.
So you're doing the man, that's nuts, that whole Broadway thing. Like
Yeah,
when
yeah,
I was
yeah,
there,
yeah,
2018 and
yep,
whenever I was there again, 2019, I've been in Nashville like more times than I can count in the last 2 years.
yeah,
And it had nothing to do with music.
yeah.
It was
I
like,
got
you
you.
know, in a movie or filming something or
Yeah,
work, you know, it was just like I was passing through. But the Broadway scene, you,
yeah,
you gotta talk about that for a little bit because I remember walking through there a couple of years ago and I was like,
yeah,
yo, this is the definition of cacophony. This is like
yeah. Exactly.
this is crazier than New York. It's like
Yeah,
literally crazier than parts of New York.
that explains it pretty well, I think. Yeah, so the Broadway thing, so I kind of knew when I moved to Nashville, I wasn't going to be able to do like a full time, like really cool stuff, like grab a tour or something, like that's just not typically the way it works. I knew I kind of had to start from the bottom and I just saw Broadway as like the ultimate opportunity to like make money essentially in Nashville
Right.
and make money playing. So pretty much right when I moved to Nashville, I was going down to Broadway like all the time, just being like, man, if I could just like play these gigs on a weekly basis, I would be like set. Like I'm good to go. I got my start in excuse me. I got my start in Nashville. And I ended up playing Broadway in August, and I've been playing there on a weekly basis since then, except of course the Corona thing. But besides
Right.
that, in August, I actually started playing on Broadway and been playing a few times a week or so ever since then on Broadway. So yeah, but anyways, playing on Broadway, it's just a crazy thing. It's as you can imagine, all the drunk people. That's what it
Oh,
is,
it's
and
nuts, man. It reminds me of like when I played the frat houses at
yeah,
UNC and Duke and NC
yeah,
State, like,
yeah,
you know, and I wasn't 21 at that point. I was like 18,
yeah,
19 when I was playing those. Sometimes, no, I mean, even like 16, 17. I don't think I
yeah,
was of age at some.
yeah.
It's crazy.
But it's a crazy street for sure. It's a lot of requests from drunk people and
Right.
just a lot of craziness for sure.
Now, I mean, is it like, do you guys go in as an actual band or is it just is it like a pool of people and you just kind of call whoever up and
It's both. So I've played with a few Broadway groups, and some do that. They're just like, okay, I don't have a drummer. I'm just gonna call this guy that I know, and it's like last minute. You typically follow like there's like 100 songs that you're gonna play, that you have to know, and
right,
this just it's gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna call this drummer. He's gonna know, like he'll be fine, kind
right,
of thing.
right.
And that goes with any musician in the band. But I played with other bands too, and it's just like, and it's like an actual band. You stay with each other. You just go in as a band. There's not really subs and stuff. But definitely Broadway, that scene is a lot of subs. Never doing rehearsals, like that's unheard of for Broadway. Like no way, and just craziness. So a lot of times you're gonna play a song you've never played before, because you just got a request and somebody thinks they could sing it,
Right,
and it's one of those things,
right.
So
Um,
yeah,
it sounds like North Carolina open mics somewhat somewhat
yeah.
help prep you for that type of atmosphere.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you were there at some of them,
Oh yeah, I was
right?
there at some. Yeah,
You know
yeah.
those blues jams. But
Oh yeah, yeah, for
it's
sure.
more, but it's more than blues because I know like when I was walking around, it was very. I was surprised, man. I was hearing a lot of shit like top 40,
Yeah,
and it was all
yeah,
it was all like 4 or 5-piece Nashville band.
Yeah.
It sounded good. I was just
Yeah.
like, man, why am I hearing Katy Perry?
Yeah. Are you talking about Broadway?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You're going to get a lot of that for sure. There's going to
It
be a
was
good
almost
bit
like
of that.
half of what I heard. It wasn't even country. Like
Yeah.
half of what I heard.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
depends on the bar too.
Right.
Some bars are very traditional with country music, and some are. There's like a bar like Kid Rock's, and that's like just rock music essentially.
Mhm.
And then you got a bar like Roberts, and that's like straight up 60s, 50s, like country music, like very traditional, and everything in between, So it depends on the bar too.
And I
So.
noticed it was nuts every night. It didn't matter if it was a weeknight or
Oh yeah, yeah.
weekend.
If you go when it's popping, like in the summer, spring, fall, that's how it is. Just
Now,
popping.
this is just a ridiculous question, and I feel like I
Yeah.
already know the answer to it because I feel like I already asked this question before to somebody else when I was there.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
girls that are walking around,
Yeah.
where are they coming from? Are they
Where are they coming
college
from?
girls? Like, are they like who are these girls? Because they're gorgeous, and it's like, where are they coming from?
I would say there's a lot of beauty in Nashville. I would say, but
Because a lot of
okay,
them, they don't look like they're in the industry. They're just out like bar
no,
hopping.
No. Yeah, so I would say most of the people that you see, so you go there on a Friday night and you see all the craziness. Most of those people and girls it's probably 50% tourists, 50% tourists, and then there's like the locals that go to Broadway. They go there to get really drunk, essentially. So if you're a local in Nashville and you're like, okay, we're going to Broadway tonight, like it's gonna be till 3 a.m. You're gonna be shit faced.
It's gonna get lit. It's gonna get real lit.
It's gonna get lit. Yeah. So that's the locals that you see around that street are there to get really messed up, So, but yeah, Nashville is also a college town, so there's like Belmont and Vanderbilt, and of course those kids like to get messed up too. So, so yeah. So that's mainly what it is. It's the night scene, that kind of thing. So,
future plans for you, which are like, who knows? Because everybody's in the same boat. But I'm asking folks this question just to see where the headspace is at and what what your thoughts are.
How far are we going?
I mean, man, you could also take it from this angle and make it a little bit more. If you don't want to get as personal, it could also.
Oh no.
Well, that's then cool. we'll do the two sides of it: the personal side, and then also your opinion on live music and how it's going to be after this.
All right. So coronavirus aside, basically, yeah. So moved to Nashville with the plan to be session guitar player, like play for other people.
Right.
Because that always seemed like my foot in the door, essentially. That was my way to play and make money doing it, pay the rent and all that. So I do plan to keep playing for people for the next like 5 years, however long it takes. But I do. So I'm 22 now. I do in the future. I want to put together like an original band and play original music with my own band down the road after I'm really just paying my dues right now. That's how I see it.
Yep.
So I would like to do that in about, later in my 20s for sure.
Well, you're doing it right. I mean, it's a relationship business, 110%. That's what gets gigs, and that's what gets higher opportunities. I've seen it so many times in the acting world. I've seen it so many times, like it, and that's just as bad as the music industry. I mean, it's horrible. Like so many people.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And you know how it is. There's so many people that are at a certain level. Their talent level really doesn't deserve to be there, but it's just because the money was there, the resources were there, or they knew somebody who knew somebody.
Yeah.
Right place at the right time. So you're doing everything right, man.
Thanks. I appreciate it. So, but Okay, now with the Corona thing, I do like to. I try to keep it as optimistic as possible.
Right.
You know, I do. When things do get rolling again, I just hope it's one of those things like people are sick of being in the house all the time and they want to go see music. You know,
Right.
that's what I'm hoping for. You know, so that's what I'm hoping for. So,
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with people in general, how they handle it.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, of course, there's going to be people that never leave the house again. You know, of course, that's
Right.
going to be. But I think the majority, want to go back out to restaurants and see live music and all that kind of stuff. Get back to their normal life.
For sure, man.
So that's what I'm hoping for.
Well, I've got a fun little thing I like doing at the end. I call it the shootout, and
Let's get it.
I just say a word that's industry related and specific to your niche, and then you kind of fire something back.
Just a word,
a word or a phrase or whatever comes to mind.
All right, let's go.
Electric guitar.
Awesome.
Acoustic guitar.
Beautiful.
Amp.
Tasteful. I'm giving you one word.
That's good. No, it's good.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Cabinet.
Differentiating.
Strings.
Strings make a big difference. Elixirs.
Oh, he's one of those guys.
Elixirs.
One of those guys.
Elixirs. That's my plug.
Pickups.
Bridge pickup is awesome.
Yeah.
Does a great job. Great job for a lot of things.
EQ.
Very relevant in music software. Very. But when you're just playing, just set it all to 5. Set the amp to 5.
So. Compression.
That's a new thing for me. Compression is really fun, squishy.
Yes.
Just helpful. Tightens things up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Distortion.
A rabbit hole.
haven't heard of it.
It's a rabbit hole. You know what I mean? Overdrives and distortion. It's a rabbit hole. Man.
I'm thinking like rabbit hole. Is that a pedal that I haven't heard of? Because whenever I say distortion, like with guitar players, they always say like some pedal usually.
Yeah.
In the audio world, everybody talks about it from like studio
clipping and diodes, all that. Yeah.
Right. So I was preconditioned for you got me there. You won that round.
I got one good. So
picks.
Grippy and medium. It's really good.
Yeah. That's thin for me. I haven't played one of those in years.
Yeah. I love the grip.
The Dunlop, it's like a 1.2 or a 1.4. It's got the grip on the. It's pretty thick.
Yeah.
Let me see. I got one more. Pizza.
I love buffalo pizza.
Yeah.
And I'm a pineapple guy. Give me the pineapple on it too.
We were berating pineapple pizza folks. Who was it? Taylor Reese.
Yeah.
She's a country artist up in New York. She was on earlier this week. And we were like, yeah, pineapple pizza people. What is wrong with these people? You're one of those guys, man. No, it's like if you have the palate for it, people love it.
Yeah, it's really good. It just adds that little fruitiness to it. So,
I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense. Like the fruit in the cheese makes sense, but the fruit in the tomato sauce, like the marinara, I don't know.
Oh, I know what you mean there. You
know what I mean? And the bread.
I relate to, Usually when I have pizza with pineapple on it, usually doesn't have the red sauce.
Ah.
So.
Well, maybe I'll try that then.
Yeah.
Still,
yeah, that's typically what it is.
So this is the last question that I ask everybody.
Cool.
If you could go back in time to your 15-year-old self, knowing what you know now, what would you tell him?
I would say go to that Jason Damico gig, play that gig. Like I did do that though. That was my 15-year-old self. I would tell myself just stay true to yourself. You're a musician and stay true to it. That's about it. So
you're saying that somewhere I actually influenced you? Is that what that loosely was?
Yeah.
Wow.
When when I was like 14 or 15, you invited me to a gig to play one of my fingerstyle acoustic songs. And
yeah. Dude, that was so long ago. I totally forgot about that. I remember us jamming at like Rock Harbor.
No, that was way later. Yeah. So
that's crazy, man. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So doing that little thing, that was like that might have been my first time playing in front of anybody. So, yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, you're a hell of a player.
Thanks,
and,
man.
Just glad to stay in touch. Glad we could actually work this in.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely need to do it again in the future.
Yeah, when things kind of settle down and hopefully get back to normal. No, I'm actually thinking about kind of doing the Nashville thing for a little bit. I don't know if I'll move out there, but maybe just do like an Airbnb thing for a couple of months. Just get
awesome.
Hang out.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people there. And just do it, because I've been in the New York situation for years with the acting. That was why I never went to Nashville, was because I was working two careers at once. But dude, I don't know if New York's really going to bounce back.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it's going to take for it to bounce back after this.
Right. Yeah. Well, Nashville is an awesome place. I would say the whole music community is really welcoming and just nice people. It's a good place to be. So.
Anytime I've done jams there, it was a ball, and everybody could play their asses off.
Yeah. So it's a good place to be. It's a really good place.
Well, cool, man.
For a musician.
Your description, or the description box, will have your social media links, but tell everybody real quick your handles. And
it's just, you find me on Instagram, Facebook. That's about all. I got the TikTok, but just Dave Maiorino. Maiorino spelled Maiorino, and that's where you can find me. So
awesome.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks for having me.
Oh, dude, thanks. You're welcome. Thanks for being a part of it, and taking time out of your quarantine scheduling.
I think it's really cool that you're doing this. So.
Well, thanks, man.
Yeah.
You guys been watching the Jason Damico Show, listening to the Jason Damico Show. Available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeart, Simplecast, and YouTube. And we'll see you guys on the next one.
See you around.